Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudivare Ashtaprayesha Bhatreshu Yam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavadiruttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtuti Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Natye Vedre Yat Kripatam Hamante Shri Guru Dina Dharanam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishvara Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhudale Srimade Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Prasarine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyati Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shura Sadhgara Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hi everyone, we'll see the verse. Reading from 4th canto Srimad Bhagavatam 22nd chapter, verse 32. Guru Maharaj meeting the 4 Kumaras. Please chant the sloka after me. Nata Pardaro Loke
Nata Paratarao Loke
Pumsa Swadha Vyatikramaha
Pumsaha Swadhyatikramaha
Yat Adi Anyasya Preshtam Krishna will see the synonyms. Na, not adaha, after this, parataraha, greater, loke, in this world, pumsaha, of the living entities, swa artha, interest, vyatikramaha, obstruction, yat adi, beyond that, anyasya, of others, preyastvam, to be more interesting, atmanaha, for the self, swa on, vyatikrama, by obstruction. Translation. There is no stronger obstruction to one's self-interest than thinking other subject matters to be more pleasing than one's self-realization. Yes, Manijay Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Devar Pranam. Papat par Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Human life is especially meant for self-realization. Self refers to the super self and the individual self, the supreme personality of Godhead and the living entity. When, however, one becomes more interested in the body and bodily sense gratification, he creates for himself obstruction on the path of self-realization. By the influence of Maya, one becomes more interested in sense gratification, which is prohibited in this world for those interested in self-realization. Instead of becoming interested in sense gratification, one should divert his activities to satisfy the senses of the supersoul. Anything performed contrary to this principle is certainly against one's self-interest. Hare Krishna Mataji.
We will do one more sloka, 422-33. Artendriyartha bhidyanam sarvarto pahnavo nridam bramshito jnana vijnana yena visvati mukhyatam. Synonyms: artha, riches; indriya artha, for the satisfaction of the senses; abhidhyana, constantly thinking of; sarva artha, 4 kinds of achievements; aphanahava, destructive; nridam, of human society; bramshitaha, being devoid of; jnana, knowledge; Jnana, devotional service; yena, by all this, avishati, enters mukyatam, immovable life. Translation: for human society, constantly thinking of how to earn money and apply it for sense gratification brings about the destruction of everyone's interest. When one becomes devoid of knowledge and devotional service, he enters into the species of life like those of trees and stones.
Papat. Jnana or knowledge means to understand one's constitutional position, and Vijnana refers to practical application of that knowledge in life. In the human form of life, one should come to the position of Jnana and Vijnana. But despite this great opportunity, if one does not develop knowledge and practical application of knowledge through the help of a spiritual master and the Shastras, in other words, if one misuses this opportunity, then in the next life, he is sure to be born in a species of non-moving living entities. Non-moving living entities includes hills, mountains, trees, plants, etc. This stage of life is called Punya Atmam or Mukhya Atmam, namely making all activities zero. Philosophers who support stopping all activities are called Shunyavadi. By nature's own way, our activities are to be gradually diverted to devotional service. But there are philosophers who, instead of purifying their activities, try to make everything zero or void of all activities. This lack of activity is represented by the trees and the hills. This is a kind of punishment inflicted by the laws of nature. If we do not properly execute our mission of life in self-realization, nature's punishment will render us inactive by putting us in the form of trees and hills. Therefore, activities directed towards sense gratification are condemned herein. One who is constantly think of activities to earn money and gratify the senses is following a path which is suicidical. Factually, all human society is following this path. Some way or other, people are determined to earn money or get money by begging, borrowing, or stealing, and applying that for sense gratification. Such a civilization is the greatest obstacle in the path of self-realization. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 4:22:32. Nata parataro loke pumsa swata vidikramaha yadati anyasya krishvam atmana swavidikramaha. There is no strong obstruction to one's self-interest than thinking other subject matters to be more pleasing than one's self-realization. So, Prabhupada ki jai. So here it's been explained about what is the goal of human life, or what is it meant for, self-realization, right? The self-realization not only means to know what who we are, also to know about who God is. The self-realization and God realization will go hand in hand. So this is what first Vedanta Sutra. So does anyone know what is the first Vedanta Sutra?
Athato Brahma
Jigyasa.
Yes. So Adado Brahma Jigyasa. Adado Brahma Jigyasa. So we should be inquisitive about Brahman, right? Adado Brahma Jigyasa. So that's the first Vedanta Sutra also explains that. Also in Bhagavatam, first canto, second chapter, 10th sloka also says, Kamasya Nindriya Priti Labho Jivate Yavata Jivasya Tattva Jigyasa Nato Yaschesa Karmavi Jivasya Tattva Jigyasa. The main purpose of human form of life is to inquire about the self, a Tattva Jigyasa. So life's desire should never be directed towards sense gratification. One should desire only a healthy life or self-preservation, since a human life is meant for the inquiry about absolute truth. Nothing else should be the goal of one's work. So human life is basically for what? To inquire about absolute truth. Can an animal do that? No. An animal can't go and ask, who am I? So like how Sanatana Goswami asked to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when he met Kayami, who am I? No? So such questions. And Arjuna asked so many questions in Bhagavad Gita. When Parikshit Maharaj asked so many questions to Shukadeva Goswami. So that's about to inquire about the absolute truth. So human life is actually meant for the inquiry about absolute truth. If we don't ask such questions, then we are not using the human form of life in the right way, right? Our questions should not be like, which is the movie released next and who is the political leader. Or, all that is Gramikata, but the real inquiry should be about the absolute truth. Even when you have a spiritual master, Tadvidi Pranipatena Pari Prashnena Sevaya, right? You have to ask questions about what? About the absolute truth, not about the sense gratification. So if we go behind sense gratification, then what happens? Our real self-interest will be lost. So in the second sloka also, this kind of continuation here, it is said that we should not be constantly thinking about how to earn money for sense gratification. No, our real interest should be for knowledge and devotional service. Or else what happened? We will also become like trees and stones if we don't use our human form of life in the right way. So if we have devoid of, so who have become like trees because they misuse the human form of life? You can put in the chat. You remember any instance from Bhagavatam where they became trees because they kind of didn't use the human form in the right way. Instead of using it for to know about the absolute truth, they used for sense gratification. Nala Kubera and Manigriva, good. So the Kubera's children, right? So it is said, if somebody is trying to expose the human part of bodies, like how the prostitutes and all do, if we try to expose like that, next Janma, you will be born as a tree. Why? Because you've seen the trees, they shed the barks. I mean, they don't have a covering or clothes or something. They keep shedding it. So this is what will happen if we try to do that. So Garda Purana gives a lot of explanation. So here Prabhupada says they'll become non-moving because they are not using the human form of life here. So if we misuse the opportunity of human form of life, and then we are sure to be born as a non-living entity. Because even after getting a human form of life, you didn't use it in the right way, right? And then despite this great opportunity, so it's called a great opportunity, develop knowledge and practical application of this knowledge. Now, if we don't use it, this human form of life, then what happens? We'll get a non-living living entity, because that's what the material nature give us. No? You like you give a mobile phone to a child and it destroys the phone. Will you give a phone next to the child again or one more phone? No, because anyway he's going to destroy it. Similarly, material nature is like, okay, I have given the soul a human form and he is misusing for ahara, nidra, bayamaidhanam, eating, mating, sleeping and defending, not doing the real dharma. Then will the material nature give us a human body next? No. But instead, if you do devotional service, and then if you're not able to complete devotional service in this life, the material nature will give you another body, human form, Shuchinam Srimadam Gehe, in a Vaishnava family, Brahmin family, so that we continue from where we stop. So that's the difference. So here, if we are devoid of bhakti, then whatever we do is waste. Bhagavad Bhaktir Hinasya Jadi Shastram Japastava Apranasyeva Dehasya Mandaram Logaranjana. So Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Chapter 19, verse 75 says that Bhagavad Bhakti Hinasya, if you don't have bhakti or devotional, you don't do devotional service, Jati Shastram Japastapa, whichever jati or caste you are born, big, whatever caste, whatever shastras you've studied, whatever japa you do, or tapas, austerities you do, Apranasyeva Dehasya Mandaram Logarajana. It's like decorating a dead body. Then what's the use of decorating a dead body? For a person devoid of devotional service, birth in a great family, knowledge of revealed scriptures, performance of austerities and penances, chanting of the Vedic mantras, are like ornaments of a dead body. Now you keep putting makeup and the decorations to the dead body. Anyway, it's going to the graveyard, and what's the use of doing it? So such ornaments simply serve the comfort and pleasure of the general populace. It's just Mandanam Logaranjanam. It's nothing else. So Bhagavad Bhakti Hinasya, that's what makes us very special. That is Bhagavad Bhakti. It's very rare. And even if you have bhakti and if you don't have even a wealth or anything, still you're glorious. But this is what is explained. And also it is said that if we go behind sense gratification, what happens? Our real peace will be destroyed, right? So this kind of a suicidal. When you just try to gratify the senses, that path is called suicidal. Okay, so everybody is going behind this. The Charva Muni says, beg, borrow, steal. Get the money by begging, borrow, steal, and then use it for sense gratification. Why they have this concept? If you beg, you get money, and then you borrow, you need to repay. If you don't repay, then what will happen? You borrowed some money and you don't repay, then what will happen to you? What will happen? I'm talking about the next Janma. What
Next
happens? What will happen if you borrow money and then you're not able to repay? And you die.
Next life we have to repay anyway.
Yeah, you
Next
have to take
life
a
we have
rebirth.
to repay.
So that means you have to take a rebirth and then try to repay it. No, there is punarjanma again. That's like a punishment. Maybe you suffer in this life, or if you're not suffering this life, next life you have to give it back. And if you steal, still there is sin, right? There'll be karma, the prarabdha karma winding in. So, but why they are saying beg, borrow and steal is because Sarva Muni, he don't believe in the next Janma. They don't believe in Punarjanma. They just think we have just one life, enjoy this one life. They don't even know they are so much in ignorance, and that's why we should know, we should have jnana. That means to understand our constitutional position. Jivera Swarupoi, Krishna Nityadas, and Vijnana to practically apply that in our life. So we should have these two, jnana and vijnana. These are byproducts of bhakti, jnana and vairagya. So human life, form of life is basically for jnana and vijnana. And if we don't use it in the proper way, then we are doing suicide. Atmahanta, we're doing suicide of the spirit. The soul is getting suicidal. So people are just behind how to earn money, sweeter than honey. And what happens? The sense gratification goes on increasing and self-realization decreases. There's a nice story where a rich man was not at all happy. He had so much money, but he was not happy. And his neighbor was so poor and he didn't have any money, but he was very happy. Now, sometimes you can see, right? So great millionaires and all get committing suicide, and those who's living in the slummy areas, they're so happy in life. So, so this person was disturbed he have no money, but he is very happy. I have so much money, I'm not happy. Now what to do? So his friend came and said, you do one thing, we'll see, we'll check, we'll do one test on him. So you take some 9 gold coins, okay, and then put it in his courtyard next day morning. Let him find out. And then he did the same thing. He took some 9 gold coins and threw it in his courtyard, and he was waiting to what happened. The next day morning, when that poor man got up, he saw 1 gold coin. Then he got the second one, third one, and kept on searching everywhere till he got 9 gold coins. And he was so happy. But he was little sad because he didn't have 10. So he started searching for the 10th one, and it was not there. So what he did, he kept it in his locker. But then he went out and started working hard so much to earn the 10th gold coin. He was struggling day and night, and his peace of mind was gone. He could not sleep. He was not happy anymore. And then the 10th gold coin he got finally. And when he came back to put it with the rest of the gold coins, he saw 2 gold coins are missing. Right? His wife and daughter have spent that 2 gold coins. So again, it became 8. And he had to struggle to do that 2 ones. And from that day onwards, his peace of mind was gone and he was not happy. So this is what the rich man's friend said. See, till now, he was not working for sense gratification. He was very happy. The moment he started working for sense gratification, he had anxieties and he was not happy. So constantly thinking of how to earn money and satisfy the senses, which will destroy our real peace of mind. And whatever by providence we get, Eko Bahunami Vidita Vikam, and Krishna will maintain, right? And according to your providence, doesn't mean we don't have to do our karma. You do karma, you work for Krishna, that's the best thing. But then Krishna will take care of it. Now, whatever our punya and papa based on that, we get. So the source of income is not the source for maintenance. It's done by the providence. So that will be taken care. And it also says that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says in Shishtashaka, what should be a real prayer? This Antilila chapter 20 says, Nadanam Najanam na Sundari Kavitam Vajagadisha Kamaye Mama Janmani Janmaneshware Bhavadat Bhaktir Ahaitu Kipve. You don't want any riches. Why? When we have a lot of riches, what happens? Your mind get distracted and you want, instead of satisfying Krishna, you'll try to satisfy your senses. But yes, by doing punya, you get a lot of money. In your previous janma, you did punya, you have money. Use it for Krishna service. Or you do yukta vairagya, use everything in satisfying the Lord. And then he says, I don't want anyone, I don't want followers. What does he want? Bhavatar bhakti raheti, mama janmani janmani chere. So he's rejecting four things here. Dhanam or wealth, he's rejecting janam or followers, he's rejecting a beautiful woman, he's rejecting one more thing. What is that? And he wants only bhakti. Which thing he is rejecting?
Moksha.
Wealth, huh?
Moksha.
Yeah, so he is rejecting moksha. He doesn't want moksha also. That means mama janmani share means birth after birth. Now it doesn't bother, I'm not bothered whether I get moksha or not, but I just want to do devotional service again and again. Yeah, liberation has been rejected here in this verse. So Mahaprabhu is teaching us that if we desire material wealth, then your real self-interest will be gone. Our self-realization will be destroyed, right? So what should we pray for? Unmotivated devotional service to Krishna. That's what our prayers should be, right? Rest everything Krishna maintains. You know the story of Kolaveja Sridhar. Mahaprabhu says he is the richest. Why? He had bhakti. But if you don't have bhakti or don't do devotional service, then what is the use? It's like decorating the dead body or ornamenting the dead body, right? Because anyway, Mrityu Sarva Harasya, death is going to take everything from you. Can you just hold your properties and things and keep? No, death will take everything from us. But then whatever devotional service we did, definitely it's carried to the next life. So what should we do is intense tapasya or intense sadhana has to be done so that we can carry it to our next janma or can get liberated in this life itself. Right? It's up to then if we think that we are in this body, the bodily concept, then what happens? We won't get real peace of mind and we won't be happy. But the real happiness lies in understanding the self or the who we are and what is our real function to do dharma to Krishna. So you know that story where Sanatana Goswami a Brahmana went to Sanatana Goswami and asked for help, like he wanted to marry his daughter. So he wanted some wealth. So what did Sanatana Goswami say? Oh, there is a touchstone, a Chintamani stone, a touchstone in the basket. You just take it and you sell it, you get a lot of money. It's very precious stone. So the Brahmana saw in the waste basket, there was a stone, it's glowing. So he took it and he's like, this is for me. Why did it? And he was thinking, why did he throw it in the waste basket? Sanatana Goswami throw it in the waste basket. That means he has something which is more precious than the stone. And then the Brahmana came back and asked, what, do you have anything precious than this? Please give that to me so that I can marry my daughter off. Sanatana Goswami is like, throw that stone in Yamuna and come back. Take a bath and come. Then I'll give you the most precious thing. And what did the Sanatana Goswami give the Brahmana? Does anyone know?
Holy name.
Krishna
Nam
Mahamantra.
Sankirtana.
Hare Krishna
Hare
Mahamantra.
Krishna.
Yeah, so he gave the Hare Krishna Mahamantra because that's more precious than any other material things. Why? Because it can be taken from life to life. This whatever touchstone or whatever properties and car and bungalow, whatever we have, can it be taken to the next life? We can't even take one small 1 rupee or a small drop of wealth with us. So whatever we carry is our karma, and whatever we are doing is akarma. So all the sin gets destroyed, and Krishna will give us such a form of life because we are using your human form in a nice way, not like animals. So if we use our human form in a nice way, then material nature, but because Krishna will sanction to have a better life next Janma, or you finish your devotional service 100%, you can go back home, back to Godhead. So that depends on our sincerity. But then if we misidentify ourselves as this body, what is it called? Misidentifying the body. Yasyatma buddhi kunape dhatuke swadi kalatradiṣabhauma ijjati yatirtha buddhi salilena karhichit janesha vignesha sa eva bhokara. Then if we identify ourselves as a body, then we are actually like an ass. It says, Bhagavatam says, 10th canto, 84th chapter, 13th sloka says, Yasyatma buddhi kunape tridhatuke. If we think that this body is made up of tridhatuka, what are the 3 things the body is made up of? Does anyone know what are the 3 tridhatuka? What are the 3 elements the body is?
Kapha, Vata, Pitta.
Yeah, so that is Kapha, Vayu and Pitta. There's air, mucus, and bile. So if we think our body is made up of this tridhatuka, the 3 things, and Swadi Kalatra Dishabhauma Ijjati, if we think all my wife and children and all these are mine, according to the body relation, and Yatirtha Buddhi Salilena Karhichit, if we think a pilgrimage place is just a place of a trip, or you just go to a water and take a dip and come back, and then what happens? Janesha Vitnesha Saeva Gokhara. That means if you think like that, then you are like a Gokhara. Okay. So here it is said, one who identifies himself as the inert body composed of mucus, bile, and air, Kapha, Vayu, and Pitta. So you can see here the Tridhatuka. The 3 basic elements is Kapha, Vayu, Pitta. If we think our body is made up of like that, and if we think our wife and family are permanently our own, and if we think the earth or the land of birth is worshipable, if you see a place of pilgrimage, just water there, and who never identify himself with field kingship, with worships, or even visit those places who are wise in spiritual truth, such a person is no better than a cow or an ass. So sometimes we go to the pilgrimage place and doesn't go to a sadhu to hear about the spiritual truth. Or when you think it's just water there, these tirthas, and if we think all this family and everyone is ours, our own, and if we think our body is composed of mucus, bile, and air, then such a person is no better than a cow and an ass. And next Janma, you get a body like that. You'll get a body like that. How is an ass? Keeps working hard day and night, The washerman uses the ass. This is the most foolish animal, and it carries so much load just for a few grass. You know how they keep the grass for the donkey? They keep a stick and make the grass hang. So the donkey thinks, oh, I'll get the grass. It keeps walking. It doesn't give. Grass is available everywhere. But then so much hard work it is done. Pavarga, Prabhupada says, pa, 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 ma. What is pa, pa, ba, pa, ma of Pavarga? Pa for
Parishram.
Parishram. That means so much hard work. Then pa,
Fena.
that the spina or the foam keeps coming out of the mouth. Then pa,
Bhaya.
Yeah, there's bhaya, or there is fear. And then tha,
Ma is marana, death.
bandhana, or bondage. There'll be bondage. And then ma,
Death.
death,
Marana.
mrityu. Death or mrityu. So bha, ma. So this is called pavarga. This is what we are doing. Parishrama, so much hard work, day and night, overtime, and Sundays also you work and everything. So one of my friend also, initially when we get job, she was doing overtime, and Sundays also started working and not coming to the temples. Only a Sunday we get a time to come to temple, and then that was also gone, and no sadhana, nothing. And then heard Prabhupada's lecture saying that if you work so hard in this Janma, always in the office, or wherever your workplace is, then what happens next Janma? Material nature will give you in such a body that you become a cockroach in that office next Janma because you're so addicted to that office, or your life is like completely work. You're not doing your self-interest. Then what happens? You get an animal form of life next. And then this is what pavarga is. So we should come out of it and go for apavarga stage. And we should not work like an ass or a cow, because after getting human form of life, durlabha manusha janma, even Prahlad Maharaj says, Kaumara achare pratne dharman bhagavatani ha durlabha manusha janma tadapi adhruvam artadam. So even after getting a human form of life and you misuse it, don't do devotional service, then what happens? We are wasting this such rare human form of life, right? Even though the human form of life is perishable, it is temporary, it has to go get destroyed, but still we should work for a real interest, that is self-realization. Okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Yes, Hare Krishna. Priyadarshini Mataji.
Mataji, why have they included cow also in that? Cow is a very nice animal, no? It's very.
Cow is it is said pashu. Pashu means what? What does a cow does? Puna charvita charvanana. We are not talking about a sattvic point of view. We are telling like how a cow does this puna charvita charvanana. The cow chews and keeps the cud, no? And again it chews. So what is the use of doing it? Already it has chewed and taken the rasa. Now it's keeping it again and chewing. So similarly, this material life we have enjoyed, and again we are enjoying the same thing. There's no juice coming. Puna charvita charvanana. That's why it's compared to a cow, not of the sun.
Okay. Yes, thank you, Mataji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. So so here Prabhupada says, such a devotee of the Lord is not a foolish cow or a stubborn ass like the majority of materialists. Because then a cow is taken to a slaughterhouse. When we are taken to the slaughterhouse, what does it do? There are so many animals and they are all slaughtered. Though when an animal is getting slaughtered, next is your chance. Okay, you have seen that animal crying, you saw that animal getting slaughtered. Still, you're not bothered. What does the cow do? It just enjoys its grass, not thinking, oh, next is my chance. No, so like that. We have seen people dying around us. We have seen people suffering and all that because of so much sinful activities, and still we are not taking to devotional service, which can, make us escape from the cycle of birth, death, and old age disease. So it's like a foolish cow. Prabhupada means a foolish cow or a stubborn ass, like the materialists who are so attached to material things and not doing the real purpose of human form of life. Okay, keep chanting and please come for the yatra. The yatra in the sense, the Radha Yatra we have April 22nd and 23rd is the soft opening of the temple. Please do come. The Radha Yatra is going to be amazing. You just pull the lordships and then you dance in front of the Lord. There's so much of, you'll never have this opportunity in your life. I tell you, please do come. The yatra is on, and then get the links from the admins. Yes, Surya Prakash Rao Prabhu.
Can you please repeat that? Papa Baba Ma Bandhamu Murtyu. The first Pa means Papa Ma.
Pavarga means pa bab ma. Okay. So pa
Yeah.
is parishrama. Parishrama means
Parishrama.
You work so hard and loiter and so much. And swafena, that means there is what do you say? Form will come when you do much parishrama. Yeah, pa bab ma. Okay. So then next there is
Bhabandamu.
Yeah, bhayam, and then
Bhayam,
bondage,
bhayam,
bandhana.
bandhamu.
Yeah,
Mrityu.
bandhana, and then next is mrityu. Last
Mrityu.
is mrityu.
Ma means mrityu. Thank you,
Okay.
Mother.
Prabhupada
Hare
always
Krishna.
quotes this. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
pavarga. And
He will
apavarga
always
means liberation, the opposite of it.
liberation. Okay, Mother. Hare Krishna. Very beautiful
So we
session.
should not go for that instead of
Yeah.
pa,
Yeah.
pa, pa, ma. No?
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Thank you. Thank you, Mother.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So here in the, you can see here, Prabhupada quotes here, the pavarga. Okay.
Yes,
Pa,
Mataji.
pa, ma. Pa means parishrama, simply laboring, so much hard work. Then pa is pain, there is foam, like a horse and all do a lot of hard work and there's foam. And sometimes the foam that is throat is dry. Then ba means bhaya, and there is a pa that is laboring, so much laboring is there, that is bandhana. And next is ma mrityu, that is death. So we should not go for that. Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Thank you for joining. Vancha kalpatarubhasya kripa sindhubhe evacha patitana pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha kodi vaishnavite ki jai. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Thank you, Mataji. Pranam.